Let's get right into it. Number 10. Herculaneum. Life in this fancy Roman beach town meant hot running water, heated floors, and Mediterranean views, until one day, people's heads started exploding. While Pompeii had hours to evacuate, Herculaneum got hit by a pyroclastic surge, a cloud of doom moving at 300 miles per hour, heated to 900 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to vaporize flesh instantly. When archaeologists dug up the victims, they found their skulls had exploded from the inside out. The superheated cloud flash-boiled people's brains and blood so fast that their heads burst like microwaved eggs. Scientists found tiny cracks in the skulls, showing they burst from internal pressure. The surge killed so quickly that victims were found frozen mid-bite, eating their last meal. One victim's skeleton was found still holding his rings, his flesh completely vaporized. The heat was so intense it carbonized wooden furniture instantly, preserving it better than any museum could. Number 9. Pompeii's glass brains. When Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 CE, it didn't just bury the city in ash like we've all heard. It did something way more bizarre. The volcano created a heat wave so intense, it turned people's brains into glass, like the stuff your phone screen is made of. The volcano shot out a superheated ash cloud that was hotter than 950 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to melt aluminum. This wasn't just regular heat. It was flash heat. The heat hit so fast that the brain tissue didn't even have time to burn. Instead, it turned into this obsidian-like glass material. When they looked at this glass brain under a microscope, they could still see the neurons. It's like a snapshot of someone's last thought, preserved for 2,000 years. Number 8. The city that got nuked by space. Imagine living in a bustling Bronze Age city. Life is good, the markets are busy, and you're arguing with your neighbor about their goat eating your crops. Then everything goes white. A fireball appears in the sky, brighter than 1,000 suns. Before you can process what's happening, a blast wave moving at supersonic speeds hits the city. The temperature shoots up to 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to instantly vaporize human flesh and turn mud bricks into glass. The entire city of Tal el Hammam, home to about 8,000 people, was wiped off the map in seconds. Archaeologists have found evidence that this actually happened around 1650 BC. They've dug up pieces of pottery that were literally turned inside out by the heat. The outer layer of these pots melted so fast it actually flowed inward. Scientists found tiny diamonds in the destruction layer. These nanodiamonds are formed when carbon is hit with extreme heat and pressure. The only other places we find these are at nuclear test sites and meteor impact zones. Scientists think it was a cosmic airburst, a meteor that exploded just before hitting the ground. The blast was about 1,000 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Tal el Hammam was located exactly where ancient writers placed Sodom. This cosmic event might be the origin of the famous biblical story about a city being destroyed by fire from the sky. Number 7. Kuldhara's mass ghosting. Kuldhara, India, around 200 years ago. One day, a bustling city of 1,500 people. The next morning, a complete ghost town. Dinner plates still on tables, clothes still hanging to dry. Everything left exactly as it was. The Paliwal Brahmins who lived there were incredibly wealthy from trade. They had beautiful homes and life was good, until the local governor made his move. This governor wanted the village chief's daughter. He threatened to kidnap her if the village didn't hand her over. He gave them a deadline. Give him the girl or face consequences. But the entire community had other plans. In one night, all 1,500 people vanished without a trace. Before leaving, they cursed the land so nobody could ever live there again. To this day, anyone who's tried to settle in Kuldhara has fled within days. Mysterious deaths and weird accidents plague anyone who stays too long. The houses still stand, perfectly preserved in the desert air, and not one single person ever revealed where the 1,500 people went. A whole city that disappeared rather than submit to a tyrant's demands. Number 6. Helike. One night in 373 BC, an entire Greek city vanished into the ocean. This wasn't some slow decline over centuries. The whole city of Helike disappeared in just hours. The city was the jewel of ancient Greece, famous for its massive bronze statue of Poseidon. But one day, something strange started happening. All the animals in the city began freaking out. Rats ran up the hills. Snakes, centipedes, and weasels evacuated the city, but the humans just watched them go and shrugged it off. 5 days later, an earthquake hit. The ground didn't just shake, it liquefied. The entire city turned into a giant bowl of jelly. Then a massive tsunami swept in. The next morning, Only the top of Poseidon's temple poked out of the water. The god of the sea had turned his own temple into a snorkel. For centuries, fishermen would catch pieces of the city in their nets. Ancient tourists would take boat rides over the sunken city. In 2001, archaeologists finally found the lost city, but not where they expected. The ruins weren't under the sea anymore. The same geological forces that sank the city had pushed it inland, buried under layers of earth. First, it vanished into the sea, then it vanished from the sea. Number 5. Akrotiri's Great Escape. Akrotiri was a bustling city in 1600 BC with indoor plumbing, beautiful art, and thriving trade. Then one day, the ground started shaking. This wasn't your average earthquake. When archaeologists dug up this place, they found an entire city perfectly preserved under volcanic ash, beautiful frescoes still on the walls, pottery still sitting on tables, even beds still made like someone was planning to come back. But not a single human remain was found. An entire city's population had vanished without a trace. They've been digging for decades. Found everything from tiny gold beads to fish bones, but no bodies. Unlike Pompeii's instant destruction, Akrotiri's volcano gave warnings. It started with small earthquakes, then bigger ones, then smoke and steam. The people of Akrotiri lived on an island formed by volcanoes. They knew what these signs meant, and as a major port city, they had plenty of ships. Not just fishing boats, but massive vessels capable of carrying hundreds. They left in such a hurry they abandoned their valuables. Gold jewelry, bronze tools, expensive pottery, everything left behind. The volcano buried the city under 20 feet of ash, but instead of creating a tomb like Pompeii, it created a time capsule, a snapshot of a city where everyone escaped. Number 4. Iram of the Pillars. Iram of the Pillars, the Atlantis of the Sands, was the most luxurious city in history. This place made Dubai look like a trailer park. The buildings were decorated with gold and precious stones. The pillars were so tall they seemed to touch the sky. The people of Iram got so rich and arrogant, they started thinking they were untouchable. Then one morning the entire city disappeared, swallowed by the sands of Arabia. In 1992, archaeologists found something remarkable in Oman. Using satellite imagery, they discovered the ruins of an ancient fortress city buried deep under the sand. The location matched perfectly with where Iram was supposed to be, but they found evidence that the city wasn't destroyed by a random sandstorm. The whole place was built on top of a limestone cavern. When the cavern collapsed, it created a massive sinkhole that swallowed most of the city. The most chilling discovery was the human remains. These weren't carefully buried bodies. These were people caught completely off guard. Instead, they became part of the world's biggest sand tomb. Number 3. The Kourion earthquake catastrophe. A father in ancient Cyprus holds his baby and his wife by his side. The ground starts to shake. In the next 15 seconds, their entire world comes crashing down. Archaeologists found their remains exactly as they died, the father still holding his baby, his wife's arms wrapped around them both. They were trying to protect each other until the very end. The year is 365 AD. Kourion is a beautiful Roman city on the coast of Cyprus. The city is rich, powerful, and nobody suspects anything is wrong. One morning, an earthquake strikes with such force it creates tsunamis reaching Alexandria in Egypt. It hits at the worst possible time, early morning. Most people are still inside their homes. The heavy stone buildings of Kourion collapse, leaving few survivors. The earthquake preserves the city by burying it. Archaeologists found cooking pots still on stoves, tables set for breakfast that was never eaten. In the earthquake house, they found the family. Their bones reveal they were wealthy people, good teeth, no signs of hard labor, but wealth meant nothing when their house came down. The earthquake was so devastating that Kourion was never rebuilt. The survivors abandoned centuries of history in a single day. Number 2. The flash-frozen village. The people of Seren, an ancient Maya village in El Salvador, were having a normal evening around 600 AD. Moms were cooking dinner, kids were doing their chores, and dads were coming in from the fields. Then, the earth began to rumble. Half a mile away, the Loma Caldera volcano erupted with such force that it buried the entire village under 17 feet of ash in just a few hours. The ash wasn't super hot like in Pompeii where everyone got cooked. It was just warm enough to preserve everything, but cool enough not to burn it all up. When archaeologists found this place, they discovered half-eaten meals still sitting on tables, like someone hit the pause button on life. They found pots of beans still on the stove, tools left mid-use, and even the impressions of corn plants in their gardens. One house had a ceramic pot full of chili peppers. They found footprints of people running away from the volcano. Everyone managed to escape, but they left everything behind. They created an accidental time capsule. We can see what a Maya farmer had for dinner in 600 AD. We can see how they arranged their furniture. Scientists call Siren the Pompeii of the Americas, but it's even better than Pompeii for understanding daily life. Number 1. The Lost City of Krishna. Imagine finding an entire ancient city underwater. Not just any city. We're talking about a legendary place mentioned in texts over 5,000 years old. This is Dvaraka, India's version of Atlantis. According to ancient Hindu texts, this wasn't just some regular town. This place had crystal palaces, golden towers, and streets paved with precious metals. The texts describe it as a city with 900,000 royal palaces, all made of crystal and silver. In 1988, marine archaeologists discovered massive stone walls, pillars, and ancient artifacts, all submerged under the Arabian Sea. They found evidence of 6 different settlements, built one on top of another. The oldest one dates back to 1500 BC, older than ancient Rome. The legend says the city didn't just slowly sink into the ocean, it disappeared overnight. The story tells that after Krishna left Earth, the entire city was swallowed by the sea in a single day. Scientists have found evidence of a massive flood or tsunami that hit the area around 1500 BC. They found layers of sand and debris that suggest a huge wave crashed into the city. Stone anchors were discovered that match exactly with the descriptions in the ancient texts. It's like finding a map from a fairy tale and following it to actual buried treasure. The ocean floor around Dvaraka remains largely unexplored. Somewhere down there, buried under centuries of sand and coral, might be those crystal palaces the ancient texts talked about. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.